Now, talking about emotions, we hit 99,000 on Bitcoin. We dropped to 91,000. We are bouncing here around 94, 95,000. There is an Elliott Wave roadmap in which we bounce here to 96,000. Maybe you're going to see FOMO on crypto Twitter. There is a possibility of a drop back to 88 to 91,000 before the next move higher to new all-time highs leading into December and January. So don't get overly emotional on this rally up here. Don't lever up because, oh, well, that's the dip. That's it. There is a chance that Bitcoin comes down one more time, creates that ABC correction on Elliott Wave, gets to 88,000, 90,000, just something below that 91K, and then that's your last opportunity to buy up a dip before the move above 100,000 market cap. So just keep things and understand plus and minus 5% in Bitcoin is not that big. Keep it in context. Pick your trade entries. Don't go leverage during these uncertain market times. Just spot is enough. Spot holdings is enough. Accumulate the passive income, whether it's APR and staking on a Coinbase or DeFi APR, and we're all going to be big winners here over the next few months. Trump isn't in office yet.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something, especially new people to the market. And amazingly, it's like when every year when we get the first snow and back home, everybody forgets how to drive in the snow, and like everybody's crashing their cars. Everybody's going 5 miles an hour. It's like we do this every year. Like same thing in crypto. Like, do we need to do this every cycle that we forget? During the bull market, there's going to be 20-30% pullbacks. Like that's perfectly normal. We saw a 5% pullback this week, and people are losing their minds, right? So I found it interesting. Rand Neuner from Crypto Banner and Miles Duchner, I can't really pronounce his last name. Some of the Banner guys going back and forth today a little bit. Rand started it off with his targets, saying, he's thinking it's going to go quite a bit lower, down a little bit past that 80,000 range. His bottom targets are 77,800, which is a CME gap. If it breaks that to 73,000, which is the previous all-time high, he's calling for that within the next 3 weeks. Miles, who also a very, very smart dude in the crypto space. If you haven't followed him and seen some of his calls, really, really, really sharp guy. But lays out a much more bullish case. Don't think we're going back into the 70s anytime soon. December historically Bitcoin's best month, especially in election years. S&P 500 or the S&P 500. No month is more likely to be higher than December in any election year, 83.3%. Equity still making new highs. Trump inauguration January 20th. Lots of sideline capital still waiting for entry. So, regardless of what we do, it's going to be...
I'm not on the side of Rand Neuner going into 70s. I'm not. Like, I think there's an opportunity where maybe we get back into the 80s, get that one more panic out if people get too frothy here because there's some time. But Michael Saylor's raising another couple $1 billion. Like you said, the Trump election is coming. Historical data says, hey, we're going to be at Thanksgiving bragging about our gains, and our friends will be buying our bags. We're going to be at Christmas bragging about our gains, and our family will be buying our bags. And then, like you said, Trump getting in, you're going to see a lot of things about Bitcoin and everything going on there. So I am not in the case of back to 70s. Also, don't forget, FTX payouts haven't started yet. If you have a claim on FTX of 50,000 or less, you're supposed to be getting your funds back before December 31st. So those will all be small retail people. Where do you think they're going to put that money back into? Probably back into Bitcoin and crypto. And then if you're a bigger claim over January, February, and March of 2025, that's the remainder of the $16 billion that is going to be paid out in stable coins. So I just am not in that case. I think there's still a lot of sideline capital that's going to be flowing back into the market. We also see that miners like Riot and Mara, instead of selling their Bitcoin, they're raising capital to buy Bitcoin, get on the Bitcoin standard like MicroStrategy, trying to pump their stock up. So I think a bullish times ahead. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do have a flash crash. There could be a black swan event. We do know we're on the precipice of World War III. So a COVID, a bird flu, a black swan, okay, maybe Ryan Neuner gets right. But if you're looking at the macro and the TA and the history, then no. There could be a dip here, but I don't think we're in tune for the 20 to 30% dip just yet. I think that happens after the next FOMO blow off top. Maybe that's 110K, 115K. Then you really scare people when you go back below 100K again, and that's where you should be loading up those altcoin bags.
Well, I think it's time for one of us to go open a bid on Poly Markets. Rand says if it goes under 80K before mid-February, I win. If not, you win. So I think that's going to be on Poly Markets here. If it's not already, Rand versus Miles betting.
You notice how Rand extended that timeline a little bit. He said December before, and now he's going all the way to February. It's like,
and he put the bar at 80K when his high end was 77, 8, and his low was 73. So we'll see.
Moving things around.
We'll see. I would actually be interesting to check Poly Markets and see if they if someone's picked up and launched that bet yet. I'm sure it could Could be the next one of the next big things. I mean, again, this is another interesting new meta within crypto is all these betting Polymarket and what's the other one? Starts with a K. The betting apps. When all this stuff was going on last week with Pump.Fun, immediately there's a bid up. Will Pump.Fun be shut down before December 25th in the U.S.? And it was like 97% of people said yes. I imagine that's tanked a lot since they shut down the live stream. But
shut down the live stream, and then another Tornado Cash won their lawsuit.
Exactly.
With every lawsuit, it just opens up the regulatory paving for other people who are already being sued or other people who are on the radar. So anybody who took that 3% bet probably doing pretty well right now.
Just
Cash
another
out.
Interesting way to make money with crypto. Well, we have covered all sorts of things. We've been around the globe from Kramer crashes to Pump.Fun scandals and Tornado Cash, everything in between. It's been a wild week this week in crypto, and I'm expecting many more wild weeks ahead of us coming into the holidays. Make sure you've got your pitch for why Bitcoin, why your highest conviction play, why memes ready for the Thanksgiving table this weekend. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself and all of us sound like assholes again. So prepare, rehearse, practice. Make sure you can explain what decentralization is, making sure you can explain how Bitcoin works and why it's a better replacement.
They're going to ask, what is Bitcoin? So just plan that. Because even me, when people ask that out of the blue, I get caught off guard, even though I've been doing this for like 8 years. Because it's like, in my head, I'm like, where do I start? Like, where do I start? Just go back to the basics. Actually type in, like, what is Bitcoin for beginners on Google, and just read that. And you'll be like, okay, makes sense. Just get back to the basics. That's what you need to explain to people.